Hi guys, let's talk about self-love and self-care today because recently I have learned something that is really intriguing for me to realize because for a long time I've been wondering a lot about self-care, self-love. What exactly is self-love? And then how it correlates to self-care. Because there are often these teachings or content about personal development that is about self-love that says that, oh, if you're not taking care of yourself properly, then you probably don't love yourself, etc., etc. And while there is some truth in it, what I found in my personal experience is that for so long, I was wondering, okay, I often struggle to master this self-care thing because for example, I often struggle with discipline. And of course, discipline is actually a form of self-love because if you can develop discipline, it means that you actually care enough for yourself so that you want to, have the discipline to make your life better, right? However, what I realized that I do love myself. I do love who I am. I do love my life story. I do love like how my life is going, etc., etc. Although sometimes, well, even if I struggle with certain things, but in the overall, I do love myself. But at the same time, I had to wonder, like, yeah, but if I struggle with self-care, does it actually mean that I don't really love myself? But it doesn't really resonate with me. And then one day, as I was, scrolling on social media and all, and I saw this person taking care of the plants. Like he has a garden shop that sells plants. And I was looking at this man taking care of the plants so beautifully. The plants were perfect, they were thriving. And then I was wondering, like my house plants, they are often struggling, and I often struggle to remember to water them, to, take proper care of them. Like, for example, compared to seasoned, experienced people who might are add fertilizers and, the right sunlight and etc. I really often am just able to do the basics compared to them. Like I will give them sunlight, I would give them water, and maybe like very occasionally fertilizers. But like I'm often forgetful. I'm often like, well, just resuming. Like I struggle to take care of the things that I love, and then I looked at this man, and then I also remembered about my father because he also takes care of the plants of his garden and he takes care of the house. Then it made me realize that self-care is not really the real barometer of self-love. Because, well, you can say, but if you love yourself, you will eventually master self-care, which can be true. But let's just say that in my case, I never really grew up with a healthy model of taking care of someone really is because the my caretakers, like my parents, my grandparents, like they took care of me while I was growing up, but they weren't really the, let's say, compared to seasoned professionals, caretakers, they were like the basic plant caretakers towards me. So they gave me the basics, they fed me, they gave me clothes, etc. But they didn't really dig deeper. What are my real needs? How to have the structure and all those things, etc., etc. And then growing up, not learning about this, I actually have some sort of struggle to actually master it because when I go autopilot, I need to feed myself. I need to, for example, feed my kid. I need to get clothes. Well, with him, I am more careful than with myself, honestly, because to me, he is like more precious, fragile, because he's young, he's dependent on me. So this kind of responsibility is actually wakes me up. But with myself, somehow, I don't really, like, I struggle a little. And then with other things, like my plants, and for example, other things, like when I live by myself, also my home and etc., I just have this struggle to learn how to take proper care. And even in my past relationships, there was a time that I also didn't know how to take proper care of the other person. Like, I remember once there was an ex of mine that was staying at my place. And then I wasn't really taking care of him, that I didn't even remember feeding him. And at that time, I wasn't even remembering feeding myself. So we were having a really beautiful moment for hours. We were talking, we were etc. We were cuddling. And then I forgot to eat, and I forgot to, take care of him as well, because he was a guest at my place. And then eventually he actually voiced about like how I wasn't really careful with him whenever he was staying at my place. And it just dawned to me, like, people can have self-love, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they have the self-care that is like on the same level. And sometimes we just need to develop it. But yeah, I guess that I just wanted to share about this observation that I had, because I find it actually interesting. Because for a long time, I was like, listening to all those podcasts, contents about, oh, if you're not taking care of yourself, then it's because you don't love yourself enough. But I often felt that, okay, maybe this level of care is already enough. But then it is after going through personal development, and actually with the help of my ex-partners, that I actually learned to take better care of, for example, what I eat, the supplements that I take, the physical exercise that I need to do. Because otherwise, I just really never learned to master a higher level of self-care. So that I never really knew. So for example, it's like many plant buyers, that if they buy plants, and if they don't dig deep into it, how to take care of plants, like as a nerd would do, they would just, put them next to a window with sun, put water sometimes, don't drown them. And if they look fine, then they should be fine. And if they don't look fine, then maybe it's time to find another plant, which is not good. Don't kill them. Yeah, so I guess this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. And I wonder if anyone actually relates to that. Let me know in the comment sections, okay? Yeah, so my name is Monica, and welcome to my channel. And I hope that you enjoy this kind of content. See you next time. Bye.